Some leaders are asking, what do we do if someone wants to join our church who has different views than we do on sexuality? Well, I'm going to make the assumption that those questions are not about the nuance of sexuality, like, for example, do we call someone by their preferred pronouns? But you're really talking about the essentials, like, did God create sexuality and sexual intimacy to be experienced in the context of the covenant of marriage, and as marriage between a man and a woman? And is biological sex the same thing as gender? Like, those are pretty foundational questions. And here's what you want to think through. Everyone's invited into your church in terms of attending, in terms of maybe being part of social gatherings. But membership means I belong to this church body and I come under the authority of the leadership of the church body. And if somebody has a very different view of sexuality in terms of those very basic things, then they're not in agreement with leadership of what wholeness looks like, what health looks like, what sin actually is. And so you're going to find that that person is going to have tension with the church body throughout their tenure as being a member of the church. Becoming a member of a church is a different level than attending. It's agreeing with leadership, it's becoming invested, it's coming under the teaching, and even when necessary, the discipline of the church elders. And so my opinion based on scripture would be that somebody wants to join your church and they don't agree with some of the very foundational things about sexuality or other important doctrines, that's really not a good yes for you. But what I would encourage you to do is to offer the pathway of discipling, of talking to them about how they got to their views on sexuality and going through the scripture together. Regardless of whether that person ever joins your church or changes their view on sexuality, you're providing the opportunity for rich conversation. We're in a culture today when even most believing Christians have been discipled sexually by the world. And so we want to look for every opportunity to really help disciple them according to the truth of Scripture when it comes to these sexual issues.